Excuse me, sir. You knew I was sitting here. Oh, Nick. Come on, sit down. Thank you. Hi, friends. I am getting ready to plant some seeds. As we've been hearing, and as you've all seen, our grocery bills are getting really high. We've been supposed to be doing this. This is how we're supposed to be doing it. But you know, we got complacent, got part in the system. It's been inconvenient. But those of us who've always liked to play in the dirt never forgot. We just got lazy too. But times, they are changing, and we're getting back to the essentials. And the essentials are growing your own food, being a part of a community so that you don't have to do everything on your own. You don't have to grow all of your own food, but grow some things that you like in abundance, because it will be abundant so much that you can't eat on your own. So that gives you the perfect opportunity to share with somebody else. And then in turn, they will share with you. Maybe someone else is more skilled at raising chickens, raising animals. I'm not. I mean, cats, yeah, but I couldn't raise a chicken to, you know, put it on the table later. I could eat all the eggs, but I couldn't do it. So I'm gonna need my neighbor to do that for me. And I'll give them all the produce they want of what I'm growing that I know I'm going to eat. I'm not going to grow eggplants. There was a free, at the library, they have a seed library at your local library, or my local library, but maybe yours has it too. I'm not going to eat eggplants, or I'm not going to grow eggplants. Oh, I might eat them. I might find a recipe that I like, but I really don't like eggplants. But my mom has her garden, and I know that she'll grow it and she'll use them. So I grabbed those for her. But it's in that spirit that I'm making this video, and hopefully it will spark an interest or spark a drive in someone else. Get out of the dirt. You can't. And it's the baby, the one that wants to be involved. See, if I had a farm, he'd be perfect. He'd be perfect for the farm. He'd be out there and running, hunting stuff. He's a great mouser. He would be if there were mice here. There are not. But I do let him outside every once in a while. I'm sure he would bring some home if he caught any. He does catch a couple of birds, so that's how I know he'd be a great mouser. Grow what you can. Raise what you can, and share, build community. And your community doesn't have to be your immediate neighbor, just people that you like. Some of your coworkers, take in some of your produce. Hey, I harvested too many tomatoes, take them into work. Hey, I harvested a buttload of zucchini, take it into work. Maybe somebody will take it, or they know somebody who will. But that's the whole point of this. It's not just to grow for yourself and hunker down until the whole thing is over. It's to grow for yourself and for your community, and to understand that we are all in this together. We are doing our best, and that's all we can do. I feel like, and it has become evident, it's not just my feeling, the powers that be are in the business of keeping us pulled apart, keeping us separate, because they know that one twig, this is not a twig, but one twig bends and breaks easily when you're separated. But a bunch of twigs together won't break, or takes much more effort to break. So they're in the business of keeping us separated, keeping us feeling like we're all alone in this world, and we're not. We're all a collective. We're all in this together. And it's our job, our privilege, to take care of each other as we would ourselves. To quote our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I put that in there because I am Christian, and I'm not ashamed of it, but I do not want my faith to impact someone else not hearing a truth. Um, just because that is my truth and the way I deliver it doesn't mean it's not the truth. So yeah. um, yeah, so today, that's my little intro, if you will. So today, no, not those. Those are going outside. Today I'm doing lemon balm. Lemon balm I picked up because it has great medicinal properties, makes awesome tea, great for skincare, just overall health. There's a lot of different benefits of lemon balm. I won't go into it right now because I don't have my books in front of me and I don't want to give it accurate information and inaccurate information. And I'm still learning, but I do know the lemon balm is a good one. Rosemary. Rosemary is good too. Rosemary is delicious and it goes with pretty much anything savory and sweet. You can put it on some sweet things too. If I have someone in my community who has goats and wants to offer some goat milk, I will make some goat cheese with this rosemary and it'll be delicious. So yeah, I have some basil. Again, basil goes with everything. Oh, forgot, rosemary is great medicinally too, and for beauty. If you don't know, you'll see it. Like if you go on the beauty aisle, the shampoo, everything has rosemary in it now. It's crazy, but our ancestors knew this. Any indigenous culture, like we use the plants, we use this. These are the things we use, and we're going to start using again. We should start using again. Anyhow, basil, delicious. Cilantro, because I don't have that gene that makes it taste like soap, so I'm gonna eat all the cilantro I want. And then tomatoes, because what is cilantro without tomatoes? You know, I mean, it's good on its own, but some tomatoes and tomatoes. I know it's tomatoes. Um, and then I have some jalapenos germinating in my cabinet. We're going to see what those do because I had some jalapenos. I just seeded them and now they're dried out, which you're supposed to do, but I want to make sure that they actually sprout before I put them in the dirt. I want to see what they do. So yeah, today, my two different tomatoes, these heirloom seeds too. I like different types of tomatoes. I don't like the steak tomatoes too much because I feel like the steak tomatoes are like one note flavor. You bite into it and it's the same flavor all the way through. There's nothing else. But these, the yellow pear, the Sun Marzano, they look like they're going to be delicious. The yellow pear I've had before, but these look like they're going to be delicious as well. And I do also have some other heirloom tomatoes germinating that I got from a health food store. I think it was either Whole Foods or Trader Joe's or one of those. But I hope they germinate as well because those were freaking delicious and I want more. But yeah, so I'm not going to sit here and do all the dirt in front of you because this is not a tutorial. This is more just me and my ego letting you guys know what I'm doing and spreading my 2 cents. Speaking of 2 cents, I wonder if copper will help in the soil. Putting some pennies in there. We'll see. If you know me, I'm always finding different things. Sometimes I get these downloads, and it's not necessarily about the growth of the plants. It's the mineral, the copper, and the copper can have some impact and some influence on the growth of the plants. But I'm thinking spiritually. Again, I contain multitudes. If you're going to hang out here, you're going to have to deal with that. Enjoy it. Be entertained. So one of the things my grandmother told me, that is the Catalan. The cat food just dropped and now they all come running. I have 4. So anyway, my grandmother told me that when her grandmother passed away, that she started finding change all over her house. Because I asked her one day why she always had change on the floor. I would go visit her, and every time I visit her, she had change on the floor, so I would just sweep it up. I'm thinking, oh, she just dropped some change. You know, grandmothers, they don't care. They don't think about these things. Of course, clean the toilet, clean the dishes, but leave all this change all over the floor, you know? So I started cleaning it up. And one day she caught me cleaning it up, and she was like, leave that there. And I was like, what? Why? I was like, I've been cleaning it up. She's like, that's why it keeps coming back. I was like, what? So what she told me was that when her grandmother was alive and my grandmother had her children, that she was struggling, you know, as most women do. Many women, not most, many women do. She was struggling. And my great grandmother, or her grandmother, my great great grandmother, would help her financially, food, you know, just anyway. But always, she always had change, and she would always give her change. And back in the day, you know, a handful of change went much further than today. But uh, that's the issue. Always had some change for her. I always had some money for her. And then when my grandmother got to the point where she didn't really need her grandmother's help, she would still give her, you know, change. And just kind of when she came around, she would just kind of give her a handful of change, just because that was her routine. So when my great great grandmother passed away, my grandmother started finding just little pockets of change in corners, or sometimes on her kitchen table. That's usually where I saw it, was the kitchen table. Sometimes in the living room, by the couch, but just change. And a couple of pennies, a couple of dimes, hardly ever any quarter, but dimes, nickels, pennies, you know, but it was always around. And she said at first it was freaking her out because she would pick them up, she would clean them, and then they would just be back a couple of days later. And she's like, I know I picked this up. And for the longest time, she thought one of the kids was playing tricks on her, that her husband was playing tricks on her. She thought she was going crazy. Then she said her grandmother came to her in a dream and told her that she was always going to take care of her. And then that's when she realized that her grandmother was taking care of her in a way that she knew she would see. So over the years, she just learned to leave the change there. And that was her telling her grandmother, I'm good. You can rest. Thank you, but you can rest. And she said, and I got tired of picking that change up. It got to the point where I didn't know what to do with it. So she leaves the change everywhere. So I have a tradition now that whenever we move, whenever we have somewhere we go, if I find a random piece of change somewhere, and it's never like that, but if I find a random piece of change somewhere, I'll toss it in the corner. Like, I'll probably have some change in the corner behind the TV or behind my bed or somewhere like that. And it is partly a nod to my grandmother and her grandmother, but also a nod to me, knowing that I'm always going to be okay. There's always money to be found somewhere. Even if it's a quarter, there's always something to be found somewhere. So that being said, I have a couple of pennies sitting around, and I kind of feel like there's a connection between that story, the growth of these plants, putting my love and care into the soil, putting that story into the soil as I plant those seeds, and giving them a part of me, a part of my ancestors, hopefully some nutrition that they need that they can derive from the copper, and knowing that, again, as I transplant these from this into the soil, I know exactly where I can find some money. Even if it's, how many, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, even if it's 10 cents. I know exactly where I can find some money. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. I enjoyed sitting and talking to myself for a little bit. Hopefully it'll get better. But I do want to do a series of my rantings. I don't know what I'm going to call them. But we can just call them Quanti's Rants for now. But anyway, Thank you for sitting with me and listening to me and being a part of my journey. And I hope that me sharing a part of my journey influences you in a positive way, gives you some kind of light, gives you some kind of joy, gives you some kind of insight. Yeah, alrighty. Thank you.